All right, this is Laura, aka the Sound Sommelier, talking with Millie, the man with many last names, Vanderwood. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
What's your earliest memory of hip hop?
Earliest memory, I would say my father playing like Public Enemy, NWA, shit like that.
Nice.
Both
On cassette or records or what?
Cassettes, probably.
Mm-hmm.
In the car, on the radio, cassettes, and then like music videos. So like Bone Thugs Crossroads videos, like always on. I would count how many times I've seen it on TV when I was younger. But yeah, that's probably the earliest. Public Enemy, NWA, Bone Thugs.
I still love that. Yeah. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland.
Maryland. What was the scene like growing up there?
The scene.
Like when did you recognize that hip hop was around?
Oh, in Baltimore?
Mm-hmm.
Probably when I started to want to become a rapper at the age of 12. Around 12. And then I started a group in middle school with 2 other people. And then we would sell our mixtapes at school and then like try to get signed by local record labels and shit.
What was going on that made you want to be a rapper?
Probably just listening. Well, Napster had just came out. This was like 99.
Mm-hmm.
So Napster was new. All that downloading shit, Kazaa and all of that. But Napster was like heavy. And I was big on Master P. So like I wanted to be Master P so bad. Like
Mm-hmm.
my first or second rap name was Master C. My last name is Clark. So
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So that
Master
was
C.
That's probably the earliest.
All right. Is it true that as a kid you wanted to be a wrestler when you grew up?
Yeah, it was wrestling, then rap, and then cut out all of that shit. So wrestling, and then rapping, and then about mid-20s it was more entrepreneurial, behind-the-scenes shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rapping just wasn't for you?
It was not, like from a talent standpoint, people who hear me now are like, why'd you stop rapping? Your shit is so good, blah, blah, blah. Like, I could make music and write songs and do shit that people like. But personally, because I don't like talking and being the center of attention and being in the spotlight. So it wasn't for me from that standpoint. And once you understand the business of it, it's just a turn off. Like, I wasn't really feeling the business side. And it's an expensive game to play. So, like, if you don't got a lot of money to spend or you don't want to waste a bunch of money trying to achieve that, then yeah. I like being behind the scenes, managing and helping other people's dreams come true.
Mm-hmm. Is that what kind of led you into entrepreneurship?
Yeah. Started managing, and then I really started focusing on like having my own label and shit like that.
Is that what YHGM is?
It's one of them.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Huh?
Can you talk about that a little bit?
So that was like, I wanted that to be like my Rockefeller, my G Unit, whatever. So yeah, I was rapping, but I had a bunch of rappers and singers under me. You know, like Jay-Z and 50 Cent.
Yeah, there's a lot of imprints like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to, that was the dream once upon a time, but then you see how hard it is, how expensive it is and all of that, and it's just like, no, I'm cool. Like, y'all don't, I feel like most rappers, and they don't understand, most rappers and singers who are trying to get in the game don't understand that it's a business and you got to do certain things to get to where you want to be. So it's a headache. It's not really worth it for me. Like,
okay. What came after YHGM?
YHGM, The Incredible Creation was kind of like another little label thing I tried to do. It was more like me managing artists, and that I did. Like I'm great as a manager. Like I was getting the artists that I was managing to open up for people and shit like that. Just too quick and too soon, but I knew my power. Like, oh, I can do this. I can really propel people to another level, if they listen and invest in themselves. So that, and then I was managing a visual artist and a visual artist, and then from managing the visual artist is how I opened the art gallery, and then the art gallery into. Am I moving too fast?
But what inspired you to open Sell Art Not Drugs?
So the art gallery came from. Well, the first name of the art gallery was the Incredible Little Art Gallery, and I started with 5 business partners, and I transitioned from that first name of the gallery. Iteration of it, yeah. Yeah, so to Give and Take. The second name of the gallery was Give and Take and Artistic Experience. And then the third name was Sell Art Not Drugs. So that name came from an artist. His name is Brian. And he was using Sell Art Not Drugs. And I was like, this could be a good name for a gallery. But I don't want it to be called directly Sell Art Not Drugs. So I shortened it to Sand. SAND, Sell Art Not Drugs, Sand Gallery. And then, and yeah, that was probably the peak of like the gallery. Like it was popping. Like we on the news, we in newspapers and all of that. So, and then after that, the gallery about nothing.
I was gonna say, what led to the name change if it was doing so well as Sell Art Not Drugs?
I mean, so Sell Art Not Drugs because he came up with that. So, but he's not an active part of. He wasn't here as much. We're cool, but I don't want you like thinking or promoting it as your gallery and you're not here as much. I would rather have a name that I came up with as the overall name. So, yeah, I just wanted something that I came up with off the top of my head instead of using somebody else's. But I still help him brand Sell Art Not Drugs on shirts and stuff, but not as a business, not as a physical business.
During this time, did you already have the idea for the mini hip hop museum, or?
It was right in between. That was 2017. So, so the first building that I was in, it was 3 floors, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be on the first floor. The art gallery was upstairs, and then the mini hip hop museum came because I was trying to do something different on the first floor. So I'm like, what can I do? What can I do that's different? And I was like, hip hop museum. I did at the time there wasn't like a physical one that existed, so I was like, that's different. Let's do that. So a few months later, I was standing outside a J. Cole concert when I came up with that idea, and then a few months later, we brought it to life.
Nice, make it happen. It contains magazine clippings and original artwork that you've collected over the years. How did the collection come together when you were like, it's ready to open?
I had some stuff, and a lot of people donated a bunch of stuff: records, tapes, CDs, magazines, and yeah. My whole idea was to make the room look like somebody's bedroom from like the '90s, early 2000s. So.
Did you was it word of mouth, and people just started giving you stuff, or?
Yeah, we got flyers like these. I don't know if I got the original one, but we got flyers like these and just put like, if a mini hip hop museum was to open, would you donate and shit like that? So people were donating, hitting us up. Yeah, let's try this. I got flyers in there. So this was like one of the first flyers that we did.
Nice.
That was like the grand opening, but this is like.
Yeah, that looked like my room when I was younger.
Yeah, I get that nostalgic feel for people.
How has the collection evolved? Is everything that was originally there still there, and you just add to it, or?
Yeah, everything that we started with is pretty much still here, and then we just keep getting new stuff. Whether I buy it, find it, or people keep donating. The last donation I think we got was, well, most of it's not in there, but somebody brought us a shoebox of CDs and tapes. Most of it is right here.
Nice.
It's a mess right now.
some organized confusion. Are you still hoping to move into a larger space at some point?
Yeah, I want to open. I mean, I want to stay in this space, and I want to open up other locations. And I'm also while I've been in quarantine, because for the past year or so, I've been thinking about doing. I wanted to do a museum for other genres of music too, not just rap and hip hop. So like, a few weeks ago, I came up with the Such a Vibe Museum, and I want to incorporate like R&B and stuff like that to have. So I definitely need a larger space to do. We don't have space for that yet. So the art gallery is downstairs.
Mm-hmm. How has the pandemic affected the museum and the gallery?
Well, so we're used to doing 4 to 5 events a week, and we've been doing that for the past 4 years. But for the past 3 months, we ain't been able to do nothing. So it's just been quiet. I've been trying to start doing events again as of last week, but people scared to come out and stuff, of course.
Have you thought about doing virtual ones?
Virtual, yeah, we've tried, but I think now people are at the point where they're tired of virtual shit. Like, even like the verses and stuff. Like, people are tired of Instagram live and shit. But yeah, we've been doing stuff on live, and then like also like for the sipping paints that we do, it's hard to do that on live. You got to get the art supplies to them and stuff like that. So we've done a little bit of that, but it's not the same.
Okay. Have you already seen changes in the art scene in Baltimore, similar to what's going on with you too?
To be honest, I'm not tapped into the art scene here. Like, I don't know. I'm not really zoned in on what anybody else is doing. I'm usually in my own world and so busy with this over here because I do it full time. So I kind of got to focus on all of this and run 6 different IG accounts and all of this. So it's just like, I don't fucking know. But so we were featured in the paper. So I know that they featured what we lost during the pandemic and shit. But yeah, it's people closing and quitting and just shutting shit down. But I refuse to be that person.
Do you have plans to put like social distancing guidelines in place to make people feel more comfortable to come? Like, you can only have X amount of people in there at one time.
We definitely, because usually we're used to having like 20 or more people in the space, so we'll cut it down to 8 to 10 people per session. You know, like, and I'll advertise that on the flyers and stuff. But
you could do timed entry like the African History Museum.
People gotta, and we've been trying to do that since the beginning. But I say now, like, I don't want to follow too many of the social distancing rules, because I feel like if you're in the same space and somebody got germs, like, you sitting in the same room over there is not really gonna stop the germ from floating over there. They don't care how far you go; it's gonna float. But yeah, we'll see. I think the news is scaring people so much and all of that. And so,
you can make some branded masks and give them to people.
Yeah. If somebody asks, well, we're going to be doing that too.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add or promote?
Come on out. It's like, if anybody's watching who's never been here, come. If you're in Baltimore or the DMV area, come through. You can set up an appointments if you want to see the space privately. If you want to set up a private event, we'll come to you. If you want to do a sip and paint, if you want to do an event here, game night, sip and paint, whatever you want to do, book signing.
Oh yeah, what kind of events do you have? Share what kind of events you do there.
So the kind of events that we do, that we come up with, are basically sip and paints, game nights. We do hip hop debates. We used to do hip hop debates like every Tuesday, every other Tuesday. We just, before I got on here with you, we were doing one on Zoom, and And then people book the space for baby showers, their own private birthday parties, kids parties, book signings, all of that.
Nice.
We've done stripping paints with strippers.
All right. Just giving an idea of the vibe.
Yeah, they need to come vibe out. If you wanted like a virtual tour, you can hit us up about that. In case you're out of town and you don't plan on coming to Maryland at all anytime soon, we can show you the space. Or if they go on our page and the highlights, you can see, you can see the space as well in there.
That's not a bad idea. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'll have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.